Oh, you guys froze. Hold on.
No. I think she sounds pretty clear.
No, her voice sounds clear. The screen.
Oh, okay.
I can hear you guys perfectly, but I can't see you.
Oh God, I have the YouTube playing in the background. And
Yeah, I heard it.
Just hold on. I'm going nuts. Okay, you can hear us. You can hear us perfectly, but you can't see us very well.
Yeah, like now it's okay.
Okay. I was going pretty much insane when that was double playing. All right, are you ready to record, Kelsey?
Yes.
All right, 3, 2, 1, and go. Okay. I guess we didn't really even check these. We're good.
You always look good.
You talking to me or the microphone?
You.
Okay, thank you. Very nice of you.
Now prepare for battle.
Yeah, here we go.
Oh, so before we start, are we watching right now?
Yeah, nobody's watching right now, but it is live.
It is live. So the guy Sean, the guy I was telling you about,
Yeah,
he wrote in the question.
Yeah.
He was giving me feedback on the show.
Oh yeah.
And one of his things was you and Bobby agree too much. It's like I was like, you need to go back and listen. You need to listen a little bit more. It's like you're all too nice to each other.
Like, that's something that people have always said about us. That's a common criticism of us. That's usually what happens. All right. So what is the actual date tomorrow?
Tomorrow is the 18th.
18th.
Destiny Day.
All right. Okay. All right. Thursday. Hello, everybody. It is Thursday, May the 18th, 2017, and you're listening to the Talking Games podcast. I'm Justin Townsend.
Hello.
And Kelsey Lavati.
Hey.
So he's under the weather, or so he says. I think he's just playing Heroes of the Storm.
Probably.
I think that's what he's doing right now. In fact, when he's listening to this, he's probably doing that. We hope he gets better soon. But we will march on without him. Last week it was just you and I, so we're really changing the scales every week.
It's my fault.
It is your fault. You were supposed. Actually, it was PC's fault because he took control of his microphone and wouldn't let it stand in level. So, and Kelsey couldn't do it. It's fault to you. I know you're listening. It's your fault. Just know that. And if you're watching, it's your fault. I'm pointing at you. So we are. What?
Did you?
Thank you for paying attention for the first 5 seconds of the show.
Sorry.
We lost you really quick on that one.
I'm out of practice.
So we are here. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. We've got some cool topics to talk about. And we've got some games to talk about. Justin hasn't been on the show in a while, though I think he's only been playing really one thing since he hasn't been on the show.
I'll have you know I have 6 games on my list to talk about.
Okay. How much have you played of those other games?
Not much.
Okay, yeah.
I have a couple hours to play.
I feel like you just put your hand to the controller and put it up just so you could write on the list.
Maybe.
Yeah. But we have some games to talk about. There's some news as well. One thing that just happened today, which was a Nintendo presentation on ARMS. They announced a global
punch test.
Not punch fire.
No, I know. Give me a second.
No, I think it's test punch.
Test punch.
Global test punch for ARMS next week and the week after.
Yes.
Right?
All weekends.
All weekend for both with certain times here and there, just like they did the global test fires with Splatoon and Splatoon 2. But it's the same thing. You can download the game for free and play it for an hour there here and there to test their server. So I think that's a very shrewd move for them because I think it's a game that people are sort of looking at with a curious eye, but don't really know whether or not they want to buy it.
That would be me.
Yeah.
Well, I think I'm going to buy it just because it looks so crazy.
Yeah, and the art style is really neat.
Yeah, like they stuff leaked today before the Treehouse or whatever they call their live streams. And it was 3 new characters, and one of the characters punches with dog faces, and the dog's wearing sunglasses. And the names are just ridiculous.
Do you have names?
Yes, I do.
Do you have these names?
I do have these names.
Yes.
It would help if I got off our Twitter page and onto mine.
That's happening. So if you're interested in that, check that out. And maybe I'm going to try to play a little bit on those weekends as well. I don't know. Again, the friends of system on the Switch isn't really in place yet, so I don't think it's going to be able to be but at least we can all play it.
Okay. Well, the dog one's the best one. It's Bite and Bark.
Okay.
Then Twin Tail, Kid Cobra, and Ribbon Girl.
Okay.
But the leaps out at me is how colorful it is. And I think that's what pulled a lot of people into Splatoon as well. But they announced the 2v2 mode today.
Oh, quite cool.
Which seems really neat. Like I'm super excited to jump in and try that next week. Kelsey, what about you? Oh, that's right.
No Switch.
No Switch.
Thank you.
You're welcome. We haven't podcasted together in a while.
Yeah, the only thing that I think has me cautious about it is I don't really love the behind the back perspective part of it. I mean, I understand why this behind the back, because they're going for this motion controlled thing. I mean, you don't have to play with motion controls, but the way they're pressing it, and it wouldn't work as well. It's kind of like the Wii boxing thing, right? They want you to feel like you're punching out at these people, and so that's the perspective you get. But the art style is so cool and interesting that I wish I could see
more of it. I think a lot of the times that they've shown it, I agree with you. I wish it wasn't always like that. But I feel like most times I've seen it, it's two people playing split screen. And so you get that line down the middle, which cuts off a lot of the viewpoint. I really wonder what it looks like when you're playing, on your own Switch against somebody online, or either, doing wireless, connecting to another Switch.
Yeah, me too. But yeah, that's cool that they just did like their stream tonight. Tomorrow there's going to be a gameplay reveal for Destiny 2. And so we're going to talk about rumors.
I like rumors. Well, I mean, there's a big rumor floating around on the internet right now. It came from GAF, where most rumors come from.
Which, to be clear, by the time people hear this, the actual information might be out. So either we're going to sound really smart about it, or we're going to sound like idiots. But
I'm going to go with idiots.
Right.
Because that's the way I generally like to roll.
If history has borne anything out, it will be idiots.
Yeah. I'm looking forward. Here we go. So tomorrow we find out for sure, but this person is saying that the game will be 60 frames per second on both PS4 and PC, which is something I do believe. I don't believe they could, in good conscience, because they're showing the PC version and the PS4 version at the same time, show a 60 frames a second PC version against a 30 FPS console one. The big crazy one is that it will have PS4 and PC cross save. Notice no Xbox there.
Right.
So that's a little bit bizarre.
Yeah, except obviously we know Destiny has some sort of
exclusive thing
deal
with PlayStation.
With PlayStation. So
that would be a big thing, though. Like, you may as well just go make the game exclusive.
Yeah, but I mean,
Xbox, sure. I mean,
some people aren't going to care about the PC thing.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
But that would be a big tentpole thing, like a tentpole feature.
Would make me very happy.
Yes.
Because it honestly, like, if all things being equal, if I could play the game running on my PC with the people who, and again, this is cross save. I don't know if it's cross play or not.
They haven't said cross play, but this is just cross save.
Right. If it is cross play, if I was able to play the game running it on the specs I have for my PC, which are better than the PS4 I have, obviously I would want to do that if I could play with the people I play with on PS4. Obviously, if I can't play with the people I can play with on PS4, I'm not going to want to play it on PC because that game is infinitely less when you're playing by yourself.
True.
Yeah.
The other part of it was that it's optimized for Pro Scorpio / next PlayStation.
Right. Next PlayStation 4, it said.
Well, yeah, next PS4.
Yeah,
so we don't know if
rumors, but
we don't know if that's whatever version of PlayStation 4 comes after the Pro.
Right.
That could be PS5 for all we know.
Right. I mean, again, and this, I doubt that's one thing they definitely will.
Oh, I don't
talk about.
No, they're not talking about that. My guess, what they're probably doing is just that they're future-proofing the game.
Yeah, I could see that.
So that way, if Sony is, which Sony obviously is, already works on their next console. So if you already have a relationship with Bungie and Bungie says, hey, we want to make Destiny amazing for whatever the next game is, are you leaning in as far as hardware specs? They could then future-proof and allow them to be able to move gracefully into that next console.
Right. I mean, you would assume that there would be a time, whatever the next PlayStation comes out, that unless it's going to be this fall, that there would be...
Destiny had a 3-year life. How long is Destiny?
Yeah, that's true.
2-3 years?
3 years. It's supposed to be 2 and ended up being 3.
So by the time say it's that long again.
Mhm.
Say let's just say 2 years. How long will that have been for the PS4's life cycle itself? 5
or 6 years. Yeah. I
So
mean,
then
again,
we're getting-
but do we reset the clock when where the Pro came out?
I don't think so.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know.
I think we're looking at half steps from here on out.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah, but 1:00 Eastern tomorrow, I will be glued to some sort of device.
I will not be able to be doing that because I will be at work, but
It's the beauty of computers.
it's true. It's true. Right. So let's stop talking about. I know Kelsey is obviously going to become a Destiny super fan once the fall comes around. And
I
Destiny
promise.
2 comes out. Yeah.
I'm making this promise here. Everyone's listening. They all hear me make this promise.
Yeah. The world is listening.
The world.
Kelsey, go back on your promise. It's going to be trouble.
I have to do it now.
Yeah, exactly. So let's get into more of our game talk. Kelsey, you and Justin both weren't here last week, but I'm going to go to you first. I'm going to put 3 minutes on the clock and ask you to talk about the games that you've been playing. So let me
Me?
go off. Yeah, Kelsey, you.
Oh, okay.
You have 3 minutes and go.
Okay, so yesterday I picked up a copy of Injustice. I didn't have time to play it a lot yesterday. I played it a bit now before we started recording. It's good. I've only made it through like the tutorial and a bit of the beginning of the game, but I'm enjoying it. It's sort of funny, but dark at the same time. The animation style and stuff, like especially you're training with Batman in the beginning, and so your drop hits, I guess you could call them. I forget what they're called. The drop hits, it's like you bring him up, Superman up, and then you, with your grab handle, and you bring him down. So I thought that was pretty funny. But I'm excited to get more into the game and meet other characters. Because I liked Injustice, the first one, but it was all like, I want to see what this one brings and if it brings anything different. And I've heard good things, so I'm sort of excited. I also played a bit of the first episode of the Guardians of the Galaxy Telltale game. And I liked it too. I thought it was really funny. And it's very similar to Batman. So if you played the Batman game, it's almost the same. And I also, Robot Unicorn Attack 3 came out. And I've been playing that obsessively whenever I can. And that's it.
So you played the first Injustice and you enjoyed the story in that?
Yeah. Like I enjoyed it because it was different. But if I think back on it now, like I don't really remember much. So I don't think it had that much of like, all I remember was Superman was evil.
That was a big part of part of it though.
Why he goes evil though is pretty dark.
It's very dark. That series is very, very dark.
Yeah.
To sometimes, as Kelsey was saying, in sort of a comical way, to how dark it gets at certain points. But I'm excited. I haven't got a chance to pick it up or play it yet. It's definitely something I want to check out. It looks amazing. It
looks fantastic.
Like the animations and the facial stuff. It's unbelievable how good it looks. I'm always a fan since Mortal Kombat 9 of NetherRealm's story modes and their fighting games. So I'm looking forward to playing through the story mode, playing a little bit of one-on-one stuff, but I just really love seeing all of the different like super moves that they have. I've seen the Flash one where like they run them like all over the world, and then he like runs back in time and hits the person that he's holding with himself.
Yeah,
which is pretty cool.
Yeah, they're so
ahead,
extravagant. Sorry.
Yeah,
they're like so extravagant. Some of them, like
no, it's okay.
If you wanna change, like there's a punch that Batman. Well, this is the only one I've tried. It's the Batman did to Superman in the training, and you like skip scenes, but the way like Superman is falling, I don't know, it was really funny, and I like that aspect of it.
Yeah, no, it's cool, and it's over the top in a really, really fun way.
Yeah.
I've avoided looking at all the suits because I want to be surprised.
I only saw
the Flash one.
I watched the Giant Bomb quick look, so I saw that one.
I watched the quick look because I didn't want to get any story stuff. Because like really liked the story in Injustice. I read every issue of the digital comic. That started super strong. And then when Tom Taylor left, it kind of tailed off a little bit. And that basically, the end of that takes you up until the first game. And now Taylor is back writing another prequel comic that bridges the gap between game 1 and game 2.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's
and
cool.
it's 7 issues in, and Superman's in prison, and there's
That's
crazy
cool.
things going on. But yeah, like I'm hyped to play this game, and I'm terrible at fighting games. So I reached out to one of my friends who's big fighting game guy, and he was saying it's reviewing really well at all the major outlets, but like the fighting game community doesn't like it very much. I'd say like a lot of the characters are like zoners. And so he showed me a video of like one of the top Injustice players playing Deadshot and playing against another like good person, and it's impossible to get a hit on Deadshot. He shoots so much that you can't, the guy couldn't find a way to like get around his shots. And like in the fighting game community right now, it's like they're kind of pissed about it. And I thought they'd be pissed about like the whole loot system.
Yeah, there's a big loot system in it, which
is interesting.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Like
game,
he was saying for like casual people, which hello, I'm casual.
Yeah.
It's going to be a lot of fun, and so that's the way I like playing fighting games. So
yeah, and NetherRealm games have sort of gone back and forth with how they've been embraced by the competitive fighting game community, but I've always felt like they're a little bit more about the casual experience than like the Capcom stuff, like the Street Fighters of the world and stuff like that.
I agree.
So yeah, I'm super looking forward to playing it and playing through the story mode. The first one was pretty beefy. It was like 8 hours or something.
Yeah, it was
like that.
It was long.
Yeah. So, and what I like about it too, and again, it's one of the things where if you're not good at fighting games, like the game, at least the first game, would dynamically change the difficulty. Like if you lost once, twice, it would, even though it's the third time you'd fight the enemy,
be easier.
It'd be way easier.
Yeah.
And that's good. I mean, because they don't want people getting stuck on these fights. It's not when you're playing the story mode in those games, you're not training to be better at the game. You're just going in to see like all of the story stuff. So, very cool. Very, very cool. All right, Justin, you've got 6 games on your list.
I think so.
And you've got 3 minutes. Go ahead.
Okay, so I'm going to knock these 2 out really quickly. I'm still playing Flint Hook. I am still enjoying it a good deal. Not as much as Rogue Legacy. I've beaten the set back to it. I did finally get to dig into the show 17. I think the game is really good. Played a couple of regular games, a couple games in their retro mode, and was starting to do one of their build a team things. I'm having fun. I'm going to stick with that game for a while. I finally, you and I have been waiting for this game, Strafe.
Yes.
We saw it about a year ago. It is a roguelike game made purposely to look like old school Doom. It looked super cool. What was neat about it was, every level is procedurally generated, but like a lot of the aliens would have like newer things about them. So it's like when you shoot an alien, sometimes they would have like acid blood and things like that. It's a really cool concept. The game plays like absolute garbage on PS4. It has maybe the worst frame rate I've seen in a release on the system. It hitches up for 3 or 4 seconds at a time when there's a lot of enemies on the screen every 5 or 6 seconds if you're making fast movements. So
that kind of seems like the thing for that game too.
Yes,
so
definitely.
It's a problem.
So I would definitely wait for a patch before even thinking about it. But Strafe has a cool thing going for it, so I will just sit back and wait for a patch.
Yeah.
Continuing Zelda, almost 20 hours in now.
Oh wait, really?
Yeah, I've been playing Zelda secretly on the download.
Yeah,
for a
I know.
while. That game is really good, but we already all know that.
Yeah.
2 big things I've been playing. I bought Prey and been playing a good amount of Prey. I'm like 5-6 hours in. If you like BioShock, it's one of those. So far it is a really good one of those. Very atmospheric. Maybe one of the strongest openings in a first-person shooter I've ever seen. The first half hour is stunning. Visually, conceptually, dynamically, like the way that the scenes transition. I told you the credit sequence was amazing. Well, I have a little bit to say about that later. It's just a big around and explore. I spent 5 hours in the first 2 areas when I realized I could have only spent like an hour or so. I'm just having fun poking at everything because you could go around into different rooms that you shouldn't be able to get into because you found an open window and shot something through it to open one of the doors. And I'm reading all the data logs. It's interested in right now.
Yeah.
The game that I spent the last I don't know, like 16 hours in is Smite.
Mm-hmm. Which you already put like 100 hours into.
No, I haven't put that much, but I've put a good 50 something hours into Smite in the past. My friends all of a sudden started playing Paragon randomly, which I tried to get them into like a year ago. And they were like, come play Paragon. So I was all right. So I went and I played, and I just had a miserable round and thought, like, if I'm going to play a MOBA, let me play the MOBA that I love. And so I decided to get back into Smite with my buddy Eric. And we've been playing for 2 to 3 hours every night. And I really committed myself into, like, I used to just playing like 1 or 2 characters. And I still have like my one character that I'll go to when I'm like, I've been having bad goes lately. Let me fall into something familiar. But I've been trying more of the characters out. I think they're up to like 80 something characters. And since I bought the game, I have them all. That game is really good. You know, it's a MOBA that as like League of Legends or Dota. Heroes of the Storm has its own like little thing carved out over there, and it's Blizzard, and it will always do fantastic because they have the Overwatch crowd now playing it, which was brilliant, by the way. But yeah, like Smite is a really good game, and I think it is like they offer so many different modes now that, like, I was trying to tell the guys playing Paragon, like, you play Paragon, and if you're having a good round, like a good balanced round, that game is going like an hour and 10 minutes. And like I enjoy that every now and again, but I really like a lot of the modes in Smite are like half hour. Like we had one go the other night, like 50 something minutes. And I actually posted a picture on Twitter from it. But for the most part, they're usually between like, I'll say like 15 and 35 minutes for like one good round. And you feel good about it. And you can get a couple of those in. So if you're having like a really miserable round, but your teammates are carrying you, you don't want to be playing for an hour and 10 minutes. So yeah, like I'm back in Smite. I said before, the only thing that would ever, like a year ago, I said, what will get me off Smite is something like spectacular. And then Overwatch rolled around. So like Overwatch is on the back burner right now. I've rolled back to Smite, and I have a feeling that those 2 games I will be swapping between for the next few years. Right. I'm already 3 years into Smite. On my Game of the Year list, the first year we did this.
It's true. That's one of the ones you tried to convince us of, and everyone just kind of shook their heads at you.
Yeah, I know, because heaven forbid somebody try something.
All right. I'll give my 3 minutes and I will go. So yeah, my refrain is going to be kind of similar as it's been the last couple of weeks, and we'll talk about this more actually later in the show and sort of my topic. But I'm playing and watching both a lot of PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds, which has definitely captured my imagination in a way I did not expect.
Me either.
It's really fun. First of all, it's really fun to watch, and especially watching people that I like to watch play video games. Playing it has been a ton of fun, and it just lends itself to the kind of madness that I enjoy when watching streams like that. And playing it, it's very, like everything, it's very fun to play with people that are your friends. And I think if Hugh hadn't just built his PC, I probably would not be as into the game as I am. But having someone to play with has made it fun. And even when you don't play well, the curve for that is very different in this game, because what we were talking via text message, there's a big aspect of luck when it comes to, because you just might turn around the corner and there just might be somebody there, and there's no way you could have known that they were going to be there. It's not like you usually dropped in the wrong place. You could have done absolutely nothing wrong, and then there's just somebody there when you open that door, or whatever. And of course, there's aspect of like people who are good at shooting guns in games are going to win encounters with you more than they're not. But there's so many other ways to interact with the game, and so many ways you can try to get your way to the end of the game that I find and interesting to play. And there's just a sense of tension constantly throughout, because you die and that's it. It's over. But unlike a game like Arma or a game like more like DayZ or something like that, where you're putting like hours and hours and hours and hours into like these experiences, and more like the DayZs of the world, and then also you die, and then like you've spent 4 or 5 hours playing something and you've lost that progress. This is just, I've been playing here for 10 minutes and now I have to start again, which is not so bad. So I found that really enjoyable. And when you get a kill, it feels very satisfying. And I've also been playing a little bit of Heroes of the Storm, sort of because of the Overwatch thing, but not really totally, just because like I wanted to play it a couple of years ago, and nobody would play it with me. And now it was easy to get Hugh interested in it because of the Overwatch aspect of it. And now he's playing it, and we only played like one match together. I played a little bit of my own. Like last night, I played a little bit. And I got, they just rolled out with a 2.0 update for it. So it's like Nexus 2.0. And one of the things that happens is, you get a lot of loot boxes when you sign back in, if you haven't been signed in for a long time, which is always nice in a Blizzard game. But also, they give you, like, I think 100 of, like, for pay currency. And you can use that to buy these packs, these starter packs they have. And basically, they're a pack of 20 heroes that you can buy in the different classes. So like assassin, support, tank, blah blah, whatever. They're not all exactly the kind of labeling that you would think from like some other games. But basically, they go like, okay. They have actually a test on their website that you can take that asks like, what do you like to do in games? You like to do this, or like to do that, or like to do this? You like to, and then when you finish that test, it goes, you should probably play these kind of heroes.
Brilliant.
Which is a great idea. And a great thing. And of course, Blizzard is the company that does that.
Yeah.
So like I took that test knowing what it was going to say, and it was like, oh, you should probably play support. Like I knew it was going to say that, but I didn't. And so I bought the support pack, and it gives you like 20 heroes, I think. Just yours. Like they're not rotating in the free to play. They have their rotating heroes that go in from all the classes every month or whatever it is.
What characters from Overwatch are in there now?
I
know Tracer is.
Tracer, Zarya, Lucio, Lucio, whatever.
Yeah.
I think
Diva
is in it. Yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah, Diva's definitely in it. I think it's still. Oh, Genji is in it.
Genji's in it.
Yeah.
Kelsey, Diva's in another game besides Overwatch.
I know.
Is this making you want to play Heroes of the Storm?
Yeah, because I got excited like when you brought it up because I've been meaning to play it because I played. I don't know if it was the same card game, but I played a Blizzard card game last semester in the fall.
Hearthstone.
Was it Hearthstone?
Yes, exactly. And I really liked that. And so I started getting more into Blizzard. And like I really enjoy everything that they put out. So I've been meaning to pick up Heroes of the
You and
Storm.
about a billion people.
Yeah, and the cool thing about it, Kelsey, is that like these kind of games, like these MOBA games, like I've played little bits of them here and there. But just like they are good with shooters and good with card games, they're very good at onboarding new people into the experience and making it a simpler, and much like it's about Smite, like again, I'm only playing games against the AI right now to like, because there's some quests and stuff that are involved with it, and you can unlock Overwatch loot boxes if you finish these quests.
Damn it, I'm gonna have to download this game
in the console, because if you link your PlayStation account to your Blizzard account, they'll open up in your PlayStation account. That's also how you can get the Diva policewoman's.
Oh my god. I need to play.
I played 3 matches last night. It took an hour to play 3 matches. When you're playing against other people, it might take longer, of course. But it was still a fun experience. And the cool thing about the Overwatch characters, and I'm sure this is true of the characters who are from the other games as well, because it's all from across the Blizzard universe, right? StarCraft, Diablo, Warcraft, Lost Vikings, like all of this stuff, all this crazy stuff. Lucio plays like Lucio. Like he has the same abilities, and you unlock extra abilities as you go along, and different kind of modifiers for your abilities.
They really have this like the same, like similar type abilities.
It's the exact same ability.
I know that.
It's the exact same ability. So Lucio, that's an area of effect. It can always be running, as you go, or you can amp it, and that has a cooldown. You can do his boop as well. Which
that's like unbelievably smart.
Which he wall runs as well. So when you and it's more like he tree runs, because like you run like into the woods and stuff like that. And if there's like an obstruction in your way, he'll kind of skate around the obstruction, and get around it. One of your cooldowns is the power where you put what is his ult called in Overwatch? Let's break it down.
Yeah, I don't remember
whatever it's called. That gives you extra shields.
I don't know Overwatch. I just know what the moves are.
So that one, he does that. That's one of the cooldowns, the things that you can go through and do. And then there's extra stuff. Like there's a cool ability where, because in MOBAs, what happens is as you level up, you get the ability to unlock other powers. In Heroes of the Storm, it's very straightforward. It's just like, okay, here are 4 abilities. Pick the one you want to do. And then it goes and next level, whenever you level up, you're not going back and buying things in a shop like you are in like Dota or something like that. That's one thing that's easier about it to understand for new people, I would say. One of the abilities you can get is you can have this boom box that you throw out that you can leave places that has an area of effect heal in itself. So you throw it out and you can heal people
while you're not there.
Great. Which is very, very cool.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to download this tonight.
And
do they have something that tells you if your PC can run it?
Probably. I don't know, actually. I don't know. I will say that it's a very low impact game, I think. I think if you put it on, medium settings, I think most rigs can probably run it.
I wonder if my laptop could run it.
Yeah, probably. I would say probably.
I need that.
Yeah,
I need that Diva skin.
I think my MacBook can run it too, so I'm probably gonna get it.
Yeah, it's fun, and Diva she has like, and I will say that every character, most characters they have all their abilities and they also have an attack they just do if you're in proximity of enemies. So Lucio's constantly shooting out his kind of double gun constantly if you're close enough. Diva, same thing. Like when you get close, she'll shoot her guns. She has the shield that she can put up. She has the boost to kind of boost forward, and she has the self-destruct. And then just like in Overwatch, if you're fighting people and your health gets taken down to 0, you don't die. You come out of your suit and then you run around as
such a small thing,
pilot Diva,
but so goddamn smart.
Yeah. So I played both Lucio and Diva. Diva I don't own, but you can try out any character you want. They basically have like a try out a character mode, and you can basically go like, okay, I want to see what she is like at level 1. I want to see what she's like at level 30. And you can unlock all the powers. You can change the difficulty of the enemies. You can do all this kind of stuff to
super good.
See what's going on with the character. I have Zarya unlocked. She was part of the support bundle that I bought, and if you bought Overwatch, I think at any point in the Origins edition, you have Tracer. As long as you link your accounts, you have her. I haven't used her yet, but
cool.
It's cool. And I tried a couple other there was a couple. I was checking out other support characters from other things, and I had a good time. It definitely is a process because I have to I'm having the same thing with Battlegrounds, learning to use the keyboard to do the different options and stuff like that. It's pretty easy. It's a line of keys. But sometimes I forget is E the power that does this, or is Q the power that does this, that kind of thing. But you play enough, you start to get it. It's click to move, which I know Justin hates. But
yeah, I'm the same.
But I had a lot of fun with it. And I'm definitely gonna play more. It's one of those games where you can just sort of sit down for an hour, play a couple matches, and just have a good time. And there's a lot of strategy involved if you're playing with the right group of people and stuff like that. So cool. And also it has all the Blizzard polish and stuff in it that makes it fun.
Sold.
Yeah. So that's what I've been doing. Let's see. What else have we got on the docket here? Okay. So we have a listener question.
I like questions.
Justin, do you want to read this first listener question here?
I like questions. This is from Sean. Who's that? Sean _style. Good. We have all the Twitter handles. In my opinion, open world games, because of this, I normally don't complete them because he's being left dissatisfied, bored. Are games too long now?
Yes.
Sean is a man after my own heart. Kelsey, you agree?
Yes, 100%.
I disagree.
I know you disagree.
And I hate long games.
Yeah, I figured.
Now, Kelsey, for you, is it more about you get bored with them, or you feel like you don't have enough time to finish them?
It starts with not having enough time, and then it moves into boredom, because then when I go back to it and I want to get into it again, but then, there's Injustice 2. It just came out. There's another game that just came out. And if the game's too big and let's say even I spend 4 to 5 hours on an 8-hour game, but then another game comes out, I'm less interested in completing the rest of the half of the game.
Wait,
Kelsey,
an 8-hour game? You think it's too long?
You're shooting your
Yeah.
own point in the kneecaps.
Kelsey only wants gone home length games.
5-minute games. Those are the best.
This is the new thing. 5-minute games.
Okay, but I'm a 20-hour game.
Okay.
And
All right,
then
yes.
I play 10.
Yes.
I was
Okay.
giving like an example.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I'd say if you finish 4 hours of an 8-hour game, you should probably just finish that game. Because you probably only have 4 hours left.
I realize how dumb I sound. But like a 20 to 30-hour game, for example, Mass Effect. I know you guys didn't like enjoy it that much, but I was really enjoying it, and I haven't
Justin
gone
enjoyed
back.
it.
What? Wow. Did you?
I did.
He ended up
last
liking it.
podcast. I don't think it is a great game, but I think it's a good game.
Well, I think if I would have finished it, I would have thought it was a great game.
Okay.
And I was really enjoying it. I thought it was a lot of fun, but it's just too big. There's too many things to do. And sometimes that discourages me.
Yeah, and I'm Kelsey. I'm like with you almost 100%. Not on the 8-hour to 4-hour thing, but on the even for me, 20 hours is if it's a game I'm enjoying is an acceptable, easy to sort of to digest length for me. But for me, it's not that I don't think games as a whole are too long. Just in theory, right? I think in theory, a game, much like a movie or much like a book, should be as long as it needs to be to effectively communicate its story, its systems, its whatever it's trying to get across. Whether that's a great narrative or just an interesting collection of mechanics that it puts together into an engaging experience. I think that what happens now, I think that there's too much of a push to make too many things big sprawling experiences that don't either need to be or don't do enough to merit having that experience, right? Like, yeah. I think that a lot of the problem with my problem with Mass Effect Andromeda is that you look at the scope of that game and what you were doing in a moment to moment context, and I don't think the length of that game supported what it was actually doing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying, but let's take, I mean, we keep talking about Mass Effect, so let's take Mass Effect as an example. If you solely focus on the main story of Mass Effect, you can complete that game in like 25 hours.
Right. Yeah,
absolutely
true.
And I think a lot of games are like that. Like, The Witcher 3 is an example. I actually know Sean, and we had a back and forth about this conversation, and I had like a group discussion about it. He brought up The Witcher 3 and that he had never ended up completing The Witcher 3 because he kept getting distracted by side quests. Well, the thing about the side quests is, from what I understand with The Witcher, and I one day hope to play it, is that a lot of that game, and that you want to get into the side quests and stuff. He's why I never ended up finishing. I put like 60 hours and I never saw the end. They were 60 something hours, and yeah, I get that. But at any point, you could stop doing the side quests and just go finish the game.
Oh yeah, totally. But I think there's a distinction, right, between, I don't think it's good as an umbrella statement, because The Witcher is a long game because it has a ton of interesting content that fills it. And that to me is more the other problem that Kelsey was talking about, which is that like feeling overwhelmed by it, no matter how good it is, right? You're like, oh my God, like I see 100 hours in front of me. I don't have 100 hours. Should I even bother putting 10 hours into it if I can't put 100 hours into it?
Welcome to my persona problem.
No, and that's my persona problem too, right? Is that like I'm very much enjoying the game, but it's like it feels like you're an ant moving across the Sahara Desert, right? It's like you might walk for an entire day and be like, I still have 100 days in front of me to walk, and that to me is the problem with like all games being too long. I don't think outliers to me, right? Games are like those games feel to me that like they inhabit and deserve their lengths, you know, in a qualitative way. For me, it's like, let's say a game like Mafia 3, which just came out, which is a game I put maybe 4 or 5 hours into it.
I put like 15, I think.
And was very interested in the narrative aspect of it. But once I was presented with here's your standard sort of crime world, you have all these districts to conquer and stuff like that.
Agree. Totally agree.
And games aren't historically, and I think they're getting a little better with this, aren't good at telling you like this is important, right? Because as a game player, you don't want to be like, oh, I finished the story, but someone goes, oh my God, you didn't do the blah, blah, blah side quest. It was amazing. All this great story stuff happened. You don't want to miss that stuff, right? You don't want to be the guy who's like, oh shit, like I just thought the story was the important part, right? So games like Mafia, which I don't think, by all accounts, again, I'm speaking not from all personal experience here, so I could be speaking. I'm using it as an example. Don't use that open world and that length to anything except for be like, oh look, we're an open world game, and it's like a line on the back of the box, right? Yeah. Whereas would that game have been better suited if it was a tighter experience?
I think 100%.
Probably, right?
Yeah.
So in that thing, I think maybe again, it's a case by case basis. It's like maybe Mafia 3 was too long, and there are probably people who disagree with me, right? People probably who love that game who are like, no, being able to be in that open world tells more of a story than just if they did just the narrative part of it. But for me, it's like this sort of bloat on games that I feel like I feel like if you're gonna make an open world game, and let's leave like the Bethesda model out of it, because that's a totally different like world, right? That's just like everything is here, you know, some of it's going to be interesting, some of it's not. It's like life, you know, that's what I feel like Bethesda sort of does with their shit. If you're going to make, I don't want to play your game and you tell me, and then I have to read a guide that says you should skip side quests 10 through 15 because they suck. You know, it's like then that shouldn't be in your game. The only reason they're there is so you can pad out the timing.
Say, I get what you're saying 100%, and I agree. A lot of games have like filler stuff. Like a lot of the side quests in Mass Effect were like, whatever. Right. Like I don't need to do this. But then I think about the way that we consume games.
Yeah.
You and I, we'll play everything that we can get our hands on as fast as possible. To A, because we love it, and B, because we want to stay in the know.
Yeah.
But there are people who probably went out and bought Mafia, and that was like one of 2 games they played that year.
Totally. Yes.
And they got 100 hours out of it.
Yeah.
Or like Mass Effect. Like, yes, it took me 42 hours to beat Mass Effect. The average time for completion just playing the main story was around like 25 to 27 hours. Now, if you're a person that bought Mass Effect and like is totally enthralled with that world and likes that game, you want to spend as much time as you can in that game. So I think in a way that they offer all that extra stuff, like it's there if you want it, but you don't need it.
Right.
And like, I feel like if we start stripping that stuff out of games, or people are going to be like, all right, well, I got this game and like, I wish that there was more for me to do in it. There are those people who wish that type of stuff.
Oh, totally. Yeah. I mean, like, let's take former podcast host Jackie Turner. Like, I remember she played through something. I forgot what it was. She's like, oh, and I only got like 27 hours out of it. It was a short game. And I was like it blows my mind, right? To hear that statement come out of somebody's mouth, because to me, 27 hours is like, that's a pretty long game.
It's I think a lot of the, like, I think there's like 3 or 4 different classes of games now. You have your adventure-based story games, like a la Edith Finch or Little Nightmares, which is, your 4 to 5 hour game. You have your like first-person shooter stories, which are like 10 to 15 hours. Then you have your open world games, like a Far Cry, Nier Automata games, which are somewhere between like 30 and 40 hours, 25 to 40 hours. And then you anything after that, you're in the trenches now. Yeah. You're in your Bethesda, The Witcher, like massive type games, Personas. So like I like that there's all these different models. So it's like, yeah, like some people are going to beat Zelda in, 20 hours, and some people are going to beat it in 150.
Right. Yeah.
I like the fact that games give you that option.
Yeah, and I don't think like what I'm saying. To answer Sean's question, I don't think that as a rule games are too long. Like I think that, but as someone myself who thinks that when you're creating something, right, you should be creating the best version of that thing, right? And if the best version of that thing, creatively, whether that's story or mechanic wise, is something that has 15 less missions in it, then the way I think about things. But it's again, but these things vary in systems because there's so much stuff interacting with itself there that the world itself is its own mission, and out of that world is right. But I'm never going to say, like, even though I didn't connect with Fallout 4, I'm never going to say Fallout 4 should have been a shorter video game, right? Because that's not the point of those games. But to me, it's more of that middle ground of game that's like, no, it's an open world game because it's an open world game.
Yeah, I mean,
those are the ones where I'm like, not even just for me, just for like, I think people would have more. People would have a better opinion of those games if they were a more focused experience.
Back to Mass Effect, like,
yeah.
I don't think Mass Effect is a great game with an open world structure.
Right.
I think the previous two games are much tighter, well done experiences because they were more quote unquote guided experiences. Mafia is another great example of that, where it's like it doesn't need to be open world, but so many games do feel the need to be bigger, be longer, offer more.
Yeah.
But like again, like I see both sides of the argument, but I'm more on the side of offer as much as you can, and the people who want to take it will take it, and the people who don't.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, 100%. Like I'm never gonna say like those games shouldn't exist, but I think for me, like if Mafia had been a 15-hour game, I would have played it all the way to the end.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But instead of playing 3 hours of it and being like, no, I'm good because I don't want to drive for 5 minutes from one side of the map to the other.
God, that game was killed by that.
That's the thing too, is like that's my problem too, is like that's not even a lot of missions. It's like Mass Effect Andromeda, going back to it, is like I gotta drive across this planet that has nothing on it, like except for an enemy and a little enemy here and here, but you're gonna make me drive for 3 minutes because why? And that's the part where it gets me, is like when I have to ask why am I doing this, that's the part that bothers me. About length of games. Kelsey, anything else you wanted to say?
No, I think you took the words that like right out of my mouth. It does feel like I'm a little ant in a desert.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And if I know it takes a long time, like if I have friends who tell me like, oh, this cool part happened, but you had to do like this side quest and something like that, then I'm just like, oh, like even when the side quest pops up, I'm like, I don't even look because I'm like, I just want to do the game. I want to play the game the way I guess the creators set out the story.
Mm-hmm.
And then sometimes I might get distracted by side quests and then I get lost, then have to find my way back. So
right. Yeah.
Sometimes I'm just not in the mood. And other times I might really be in the mood. Like usually when I first get a game, I'm very into exploring everything and like trying not to miss anything. And then after a while, I just doze off from it. Like the Last of Us, The Last of Us kept me engaged. Like I know it's not the same thing, but in my head, like had it not had that interesting story or something that grasped me right away, that game too, I might have just quit it halfway, I think.
Yeah, and again, like, and it's one thing, right? Because games that are totally reliant on their story, which even though The Last of Us has a lot of mechanics in it, it's a story, just much like Uncharted. It's a game that's about the characters and the story. And if those things don't grab you early, it's very likely you're going to drop off of them. I think we have a better language and understanding of how to talk about those things, though, because in that way we can talk about them like the way we talk about movies or TV shows, right? It's like we understand, like, if a story hasn't grabbing us in the first couple of hours, it's like if you try to watch a television show and the first couple episodes don't grab you, right? But when it comes to mechanics and like systems and the way games are structured, it's a different scenario, right? Like you mentioned Zelda, right? I spent about 70 hours in Zelda, but it felt 10 to me. You know, I just got like lost in it constantly. And that's a great feeling to have when you get lost in something like that.
You lost entire days to Zelda.
Yeah, totally. And it's one of those games. And I think the games that I play for a long period of time, and playing for 70, 80, 100 hours, they're very good at making you feel like you could leave at any time, so you keep going. You know what I mean? Like Zelda, you're never in the middle of anything that's a very long time-consuming experience, right? Like you're going from here to there, you're doing a shrine, you're doing a whatever. None of it takes 2 hours. You know, it's all like 30 minutes here, 15 minutes here, 40 minutes there. And so you never feel like you're like, okay, I'm in the middle of a 3-hour quest right now that, I have to see the end. There's no chapter 13 of Final Fantasy, 15. So I feel like it brings you along. The Witness is another game that I lost days to. But it's the same thing. Everything is like these micro things that you can do, and there's just a puzzle in front of me. I finish a puzzle, I can be done. I'll go on to the next one now. And you get that feeling all the time. It was the same way when I played Metal Gear Solid 5, which is a very long game, right?
Yeah.
But the way those missions are structured, I always felt like I can just leave after this next mission. But I just keep going back in because I was enjoying the loop of it, right? So I think that's the part to me that but when you're playing a game like Persona or The Witcher,
there is no leaving.
There is no leaving. It's like, oh, if I'm going to sit down and play this game, I better play it for
2 hours,
3 hours, 4 hours to get the experience I'm supposed to get out of it. Yeah. And maybe that's an unfair way to think about it, because maybe that's not what the designers are intending, but that's how it feels to me with those games.
There are definitely games like that.
And so it's daunting. And that's the same way, like, if you had told me, like, oh, it takes 70 hours to get through as much of Overwatch as you're going to want to play, I'm like, that's too many. But that's how many hours I put into Overwatch. But but it's not saying, Overwatch doesn't tell me you've got to put in 70 hours. It just goes, that's how much I put into it because I've enjoyed doing it. And so I think that's the part to me that I feel like maybe it's not about the language, it's just about the way that the games are put together and designed that hasn't really caught up to how long the games are. You know what I mean? I've been kind of thinking about it. But that was a very good question, Sean.
Good question.
So let's Kelsey, I know last week you wanted to talk about mobile games. Do you still want to do that, or are you not feeling it anymore?
Do you guys want to talk about
let's talk about it. I just want to because you put it in the doc last week when you were supposed to be on the show and then you weren't. I just wanted to make sure that you were still fired up to talk about it.
Well, it's just because I was thinking about it from playing Robot Unicorn Attack for like a month now.
It's a great game name.
It's a great name, yes.
First of all, the music is the best part of that whole entire game, and it has stayed consistent, and I still know the lyrics. I opened up the new game on my phone, and I put the volume on because I'm like, I know it's the same song. And as soon as I went in, I knew the song, I knew the motions. I love that game. I spent lots of class time in CJEP, which was pre-university. A lot of time on the first game. But I played that on the computer. So, and now this one, I'm playing it on my iPhone, especially like when I'm going to and from class, because it's about an hour to get to downtown from my house. So I play a lot of that on the metro. And I just wanted to know, like, it depends the person you speak to, but sometimes people consider mobile games not real games. And I'm specifically talking, like, let's say, for example, my parents, they'll be like, oh, I played Candy Crush. You please join me so I can pass, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And would I consider my dad a gamer? But at the same time, if I would play Candy Crush, I would consider myself a gamer. So I was like just thinking about this, and I wanted to like just bring it up to see what you guys thought about it.
Yeah, totally. I've always thought that like these divisions that people have with what makes someone a gamer, what are real games, what aren't real games, I've always thought are sort of pointless and sort of bullshit. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, like your mom playing like an endless runner on her phone does not think of herself like a gamer. She does not think.
Yeah, but if she was like, I love Temple Run, it's my favorite game, and made me a gamer, I'd be like, good for you, mom.
Yeah, oh, absolutely, yes. And I think that it's like, but it's because games are constantly becoming a bigger and more ubiquitous thing. And it's the holdover of like, are you a gamer is from a time when it was a much more niche thing to be. Right. Yeah. First of all, it was a thing that kids did. That was what it was first, and then as it transitioned later, it became a thing that people who were kids when they started playing it were still playing it. But now it's become a thing where like 50 million people have a PS4. And I guarantee that all the 50 million people think of themselves as quote unquote a gamer. They probably play 1 or 2 games a year, and have a good time with it. And I think that this division is something that was created because it was a niche market. No one goes like, are you a movie? Like you can be like, are you a movie fanatic? Are you like really into movies? Like, do you know a lot about movies? But we never go like, oh, this person doesn't really like movies. They only watch 10 movies a year. Like that's a stupid distinction. And I think that it doesn't need to be there. I think obviously mobile games, I think, have a little bit more of a range of how sort of dumb they are to how good they are than most games that make it out, in the public consciousness otherwise. Like there's a lot of dumb games that end up on Steam or even on the PS4 store or whatever, but those games don't really filter into the public consciousness the way that like popular mobile games that might be very flimsy do, like Candy Crush, let's say. But I think that there's a lot of good stuff on mobile, a lot of really cool stuff that has a lot of worth and value. And I think that, of course, they're real games. I think that. I mean, that's like saying, like, is Scrabble a real game? Yes, Scrabble is a real game. It's not a game that takes like itchy trigger fingers and good dexterity to play, but it takes a certain mental acuity to play. And so, what's the difference between doing that and playing a puzzle game? So that's how I feel about that stuff.
Yeah, like I think, like, let's say my dad, he'll say, "Oh, I'm not a gamer," then I'll be like, "Okay, you're not."
Mm-hmm.
And then if someone else says that they consider themselves a gamer, like to me, sometimes, like, depending on who you talk to, they might get defensive apropos like their game.
Yeah.
And it was also touched upon because I don't remember what article it was, but they were discussing how many people know of the Switch compared to the PS4 and the Xbox One. I think that was the article. And you had to distinguish, like they distinguish between who's a gamer and who isn't.
Right.
But I found that distinction in itself is weird because someone who might not be a gamer might know a lot about games because their kid plays and they play with their child. So there was like a lot of things in that article that I found like it's a subjective topic.
Yeah, of course.
Not like it's just difficult to make that distinction. And I find like when you're the one making the distinction, then it's I don't know how to say it. Then it works, I guess. But if someone else, like, I don't agree with, like, even if this article was innocent, it's just like to make that distinction is weird.
Yeah, and I think it's shorthand for this. No, I think that it's shorthand for them saying like these are people who pay attention to the world of video games, but they have no other way to shorthand it other than to say gamer. Like that's how they put it. Like if somebody asked me if I was a gamer, I would give them a weird look and say, I guess so. Like I play a lot of video games, but I don't self-identify. I don't consider it like a big part of my identity in that way.
Yeah.
Justin?
No comment.
No comment?
No, I have.
You have friends who played a lot of a mobile game.
Yes. Mobile games are hot fucking garbage. Excuse my French.
That Fire Emblem game is pretty good.
I haven't tried.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never been into mobile games. And I think we're having two separate conversations at once. Like, are you a gamer if you play mobile games? And are mobile games good or bad?
I think it's totally. Are they
could,
real games? I think that's the
yeah.
The
I think
are they good or bad? Because it's a whole spectrum, right?
Yeah.
It's a whole spectrum from good to from
I
horrible to great. Like it's there.
If you play video games, you're a gamer.
Yeah.
You could play hot garbage game, but you could play hot garbage on PS4 too, and I would still consider you just the same.
Yeah.
Everyone has their vices.
Yeah.
I do not play mobile games. I've tried so many times, and I just like there's something about the like
buttons. That's my problem.
that's part of it as well. But like I hate games where they look for the white whale because I have too many friends that are white whales.
Oh, you mean like free to play games?
Free to play games where it's like, please dump thousands of dollars because I have friends who have done that. And it's like, what is wrong with all of you?
Yeah.
And like I've been playing what have I been playing? Type Shift, which is like a crossword
awesome.
puzzle game. It is the first mobile game that Angela has ever gotten into at all.
If
And
people don't know what
she's
Type
obsessed
Shift
with
is, it's like this. It's almost like a crossword.
It's a crossword,
but you have the letters
scrambler.
in front of you. Yeah,
And you're moving. Like you'll have like 5 letters in a line,
Mm.
and then 4 letters in this line going up and down, and you slide them into places to try and make more words.
Yeah, and you have clues like a crossword puzzle.
It needs like for something like that, it was a competitive aspect to it, but like I just can't get into them at all. Like I played it for like a couple hours and was like, all right, I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah. I love crossword puzzles, so that it does something for me.
Mario Run, I play it. I get angry at it because I'm like, this is not a real Mario game. Jorah, please stop making me play this game so you can get all the characters.
Yeah, but you have a different experience with that game.
Yeah. I mean, like, I just they're not for me.
Mhm.
I think that they serve a particular function. It's very strange. Like, this is like a weird thing, probably with just me, but like I view my phone as something other than a gaming device.
Mhm.
Like, and I am in love with video games, but like I read books on my phone, like I read the internet, I communicate with people. For some reason, like I have no interest in games at all. Even like the Injustice fighting game, which is supposedly like the one they just released, it like ties into the game and stuff. Like I have no interest in playing it.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say this too. I'm not a big mobile gamer either. Like I just there are a few games that here and there that I've played. Like some of the big ones, like I had my time with Angry Birds, you know, when it was huge. Cut the Rope. I also had, played this. One of the only game I really got really obsessed with Story, which was basically like this like sim thing where you were a fake game developer and you would have to like pick what kind of game you wanted to make, and then you'd have to like promote it and sell it, and just this loop, and the money you'd get from that you'd use to make another game. And I had a ton of fun playing that game. And I put a lot of hours into that thing. And there's been a couple of those like here and there that I've definitely played a lot of. I played Hitman Go. I played Hitman Go on the PS4, so that doesn't count. I played Deus Ex Go on my phone, and that was awesome. There are ones that I love, but it takes like a very particular thing to get me into it. Like I played all of Super Mario Run, like I played all the levels or whatever in it, and I had a good enough time.
I could buy Deus Ex Go or Lara Croft Go or Hitman Go on my phone, but I just don't want to. Like, I'd much rather sit and play that on my couch.
Which I get. I totally get.
It's just a weird thing. Like, you're right, maybe with the buttons or something. But
yeah. I mean, Deus Ex Go was great when I was playing it because I got, like, practice points for playing it.
Thanks for letting me know.
I did tell you that. We'll go back to a podcast we did talking about it. You going like, oh, I need to play that.
Probably. And then realize it's a mobile game and I'll never do it.
Yeah, but I think it's a good topic, Kelly, and I think it's something that I think people who write about games, especially those people who are sort of at outlets that aren't totally focused on games, are still figuring out the right way to talk about this stuff and to word it, and they fall back into,
are you a real gamer?
Yeah, like stereotypical ways of writing about it, because they don't know any better yet, or don't know how to talk about it differently, and it's going to take sites that do talk about games to figure out like the best way to talk about it.
Fanatics.
Yeah,
like
to go to permeate it out.
Are you a sports fan?
Yeah.
I'm a sports fan.
Yeah, I'm a sports fan too.
But like, they use the word fanatic. Like, are you a fanatic about the Mets?
Yeah.
Yes, I am. No, I am not.
Yeah.
And it's like, all right, we both still like the Mets.
Yeah.
What's wrong with you? It's a story for a different time.
Yeah, it's like for a different, your anger at the Mets.
But like, they're like, that's a word that they could use. Like, are you a fanatic about games? Like, do you just classifying everybody under the one umbrella of gamer?
Right, which is a holdover, like I said, from this niche time where it was like it was not a widespread thing to play a lot of games.
They're just waiting for the word.
They're waiting for the word, exactly. Waiting for the word. So, Justin.
You can skip mine if you want.
No, why do we skip yours?
I didn't know if you were on timing.
I guess we are running a little bit long in the tooth at this part to do more topics. Well,
I can hold mine if you want.
Okay, so we'll talk about my topic really quick.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna be a dad soon. It's coming in October.
God help you.
I think I talked about this on the show. I don't remember if we talked about this on the show, did we?
Yeah.
I mean, I announced it on Twitter and stuff like that, and we announced this past couple days that I'm having a baby boy. And I'm very excited about it, but as Justin knows much better than I do, there's a whole set of stresses that come along with this.
You find new ones every day.
Yeah, and I don't even have, the kid isn't even here yet. You know, I'm talking about just like, you know, a lot of it has to do with money, right? Because, you know, I'm staring down the pipe of a lot of medical bills, which aren't so bad right now, but, you know, it's just this point of like, you want to start putting money away, getting ready for the bigger bills that are going to be coming down the pipe, but you have a bunch of little bills coming up. So it's a lot of stress in that. You know, Karen and I have, the pregnancy is not, we haven't had any like really bad scares, but things have not been totally smooth either. So that has also been very, very stressful. Add to that, again, just the world in general right now. So there's a lot of like constant stress going on. And I found that that stress has sort of come home to roost a little bit in the last couple of weeks, especially. Like it's kind of just been like, and I haven't had like really like tough days or anything like that, but it's just one of those things where like I've just been kind of exhausted in general. You know, it's just like, it's like living each day twice in a way. And I've been sort of retreating into game experiences like Battlegrounds, like Heroes of the Storm, like Overwatch, more multiplayer, like I can play for a little bit and get out. Like, yeah, there's strategy involved, but the part of my brain that would have to like absorb like a narrative and really pay attention to like, you know, difficult concepts about, you know, all this kind of stuff has not seemed appealing to me at all. And in that I've sort of put both Persona and Nier on hold because they're very much about like, Nier is about very big, huge concepts, and Persona about different sort of concepts, but both very story heavy things, you know, that take that sort of engagement. And my brain has just not been there for that sort of engagement. So I've been kind of pulled back into these more multiplayer experiences where I can get in, get out. It's just about sort of like point and shoot, or, you know, click and move, and just go down. And I don't have to worry about like one round of it, having to remember the last round to play the next round, I guess, in a lot of ways. And it's a stress reliever for me. And it really, I've had not much desire at all to play any story-driven stuff right now. And it's a different thing for me because usually when I have had stress in the past, kind of diving into narrative stuff has been sort of my escape, and it's the opposite for me right now. So I was sort of wondering, like, for both Kelsey and Justin, how you guys, when you guys are feeling stressed out or when you guys have stuff going on, what are the games or things, even if not games, maybe it's books, maybe it's TV shows, maybe it's movies, that you like to sort of dive into when you're feeling that way? Kelsey.
I think when I'm really stressed, it has to be something very simple. Especially with school, like the reason why I haven't played a lot of a game is because it takes up a lot of my time.
Mm-hmm.
I have a lot of, as an English major, I have a lot of things to read. So sometimes, not to bring it up again, but Robot Unicorn Attack or like something mindless like that. Like I would even consider like Overwatch, where I don't really have to think. I know I just have to get the payroll. You know, I know what I have to do instead of like exploring a given area or stressing myself out with not that Overwatch doesn't stress me out, but knowing that I don't have to to do specific things to get a specific goal or to beat a boss that I know I haven't beat, and that's why I'm stuck there and I haven't touched the game in a while.
Mm-hmm.
So it's always stuff like that. If I have to read, it's always going to be like, usually it's Harry Potter. I'll read that again. I've read the first Harry Potter, I don't even know how many times.
It's good comfort reading though.
Like,
yeah.
Or the Lego games.
That's a good
I
one.
like those. I like playing those to calm down, especially like I really like the one that had just came out, like the most recent Lego Marvel Superheroes game.
They just announced a sequel.
I know. I'm excited. But games like that, I don't know, fun, like games with, I don't know how to say it without being like games that I don't think.
Yeah, no, that makes total sense. Yeah, absolutely. Justin, what about you?
It's different every time. There are times where I just need not to think, and I share the sentiment with you guys, where it's like I don't feel. I think it's mostly when I'm just like exhausted, like tired, like I don't feel like playing.
Exactly.
I don't feel like playing a Zelda or a Prey or whatever. I need to just zone.
Yeah.
And I'll play something like that. But there are times that I've been like completely overwhelmed. Things going on with the kids, work-related stress, things like that, where I don't feel like playing anything at all.
Yeah.
And I play a ton of video games. And there are times where I use that as a, let me play Prey for the next 4 hours and focus on what's going on the Talos station and just block the worries of life out. But there are times I can't do that. And so in those times I'll take a walk or I've read 4 books in the last month. I'm on a reading kick right now, or I'll grab some of my favorite, as you can see behind me, my graphic novels. I will grab some of my favorites that I've read multiple times and I haven't read in years, and they're on like some sort of cycle, and I'll start reading those again, like something different, like to change things up. But I mean, games are my thing. Like that is what I do. Like I'm not a drinker. I'm not even like a huge, like, let's go to the bar, hang out with friends and stuff. Like, it's just like that part of my life is like come and gone. And so like, I find games as like my escape.
Yeah, totally. And I think that part of it for me is, like Kelsey was saying, and you were saying about the zoning thing, I want something that engages the quiet part of my brain. So like the unconscious part of my brain isn't thinking about the problems that I have, but I don't want to take the other part of my brain and focus on the actual game itself. So I play something like Overwatch or something like that, like the part of my brain that would be like in the background thinking about the money or the whatever is taken up by the function of the controller and moving around the world and doing this and doing that. And so it's a great release for that for me. The other thing for me too, what I'll do is I'll usually watch like a TV show that I've watched a lot, and something that makes me laugh. Like Parks and Recreation isn't like constant. Like that's like I'm having a bad couple of days. I just need to like laugh and feel like I'm like around a group of people that I enjoy, that kind of thing. And like Parks and Rec is like that. Arrested Development, at The Office is like that for me. Like those shows are big comfort food shows for me, where it's like, let me just sort of space out in this world for a little while and take it in.
Some people resort to, physical exertion. Like when some people have a bad day, they come home and they punch a punching bag.
Right.
Sometimes I have a bad day and I need to like let go of some frustration. I go online and I just try and kill as many human beings as possible.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, totally. I would like to hear, if people want to chime in with the things they do to sort of relieve their stress, or when they feel like they're overwhelmed, what they turn to. I'd love to hear those things at talking_games. Let's close this out with one last question. And this is from Gizmodo.
What's up,
Sam? I don't know if she wants me to read her Twitter handle, so I'm not going to read it. But our friend of the show, Sam, she has asks about betas that don't let you carry your progress over once live. Are they worth it? Do you think Destiny 2's beta will be like that? The second question is yes.
Yes.
Destiny's beta will be like that. Destiny's 1 beta was like that. It's basically you just testing out the servers for them. You will if you play the Destiny, if they do multiple betas like they did last time, you will play that opening section numerous times. I played it twice before I ever actually played the full retail version of the game. So just know that stuff probably will definitely be reset.
My guess is that Sam's talking about this because I know that she's been playing Marvel Heroes.
Yes.
And Marvel Heroes is in closed beta right now. And they are wiping. And she's been probably playing that game for many hours now. And I am well aware with Marvel Heroes because when that game came out on PC at launch, I dumped in 10-something hours into the game and then had everything wiped. And it's frustrating. But at the same time, you're getting a look at the game where your choices really don't matter that much.
Right.
So it's like, like I spec in the wrong direction, or I played this character that I really didn't like. If you bought, like for Marvel Heroes, if you bought into that beta, you got extra money to spend on the game that is now free money to you. So you could be like, well, I bought these characters, but I want to try Colossus. I try Colossus, he's not for me. Well, it's not money that you you get it back and you'll have it when the game launches, a soft launch, the open beta next week, but a soft launch. So as far as I know, they won't be resetting the servers this time.
Okay.
That's why I didn't buy in, because I didn't feel like losing. I didn't feel like playing through that
I can't.
Hell's Kitchen for the 57th time.
Yeah, I can't do it.
But you're gonna find most betas do that. You know, most betas are literally there just doing work for them.
Yeah.
And people are like, I will rapidly play betas that I'm excited for because I don't care if the progress gets reset, because I just want to play the game. A lot of them are like, for the most part, they're multiplayer stuff.
Yeah.
So who care? Like for Destiny, it doesn't matter if my stuff gets reset because I'm just going to do it again anyway.
Yeah.
But that's always going to be the case.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you are playing a beta expecting it to kind of cotton on to whatever progress, when you plan to buy the game, then it's not going to happen. I mean, every once in a while it does. Some betas carry over into the main game. Most of the time, you're going to see that in like maybe MMOs, stuff like that. Sometimes they'll do that, but most of the time, no, it's not. They're going to reset your progress on that stuff.
Because it's also a way for them to balance the game.
Yes,
like Marvel Heroes was probably spent like a good part of that time was balancing.
Yeah.
Like, let's see how everybody does, not just to crash the server, but to, all right, let's see how does Cyclops stack up when facing, these type of enemies and so on and so forth.
Yeah. And that game has reset itself many times.
Many times.
Like, in fact, they're like, okay, all your points have been refunded. Here you go, and you can go in it fresh again. So even after the bit is over, you could probably expect it to happen again.
Yes.
So
at some point.
Yeah, totally. That's going to do it for our show, I think. People can reach out to us at talking_games on Twitter or games@talkingcomicbooks.com. Please keep sending in the listener questions.
We have some in the bucket now.
We have a couple in the bucket, but don't let that make you get complacent.
No,
listeners.
Absolutely not.
Send in those questions because we will go through 3 or 4 of them in a episode, and then they'll be all gone.
Let's show Sean that Bobby and I don't always agree on everything.
Yeah, we have a new listener who said that Justin and I agree too much. So that's an interesting perspective to have. We should send him one of our text message conversations. We almost got into a fight, I think, about the crew yesterday.
I just stopped talking.
It was teetering on that on that thing.
No, it was fine.
Yeah. We actually have a subreddit now that you can go and chat about games.
I signed up for Reddit.
So I go to Justin. I go, Justin, what's your Reddit username so that I can make you a moderator? He goes, oh, I don't have an account. I'll have to go sign up for one. The last year of your life, all you've been doing is talking about these different Reddits that you visit and see stuff on.
I never feel like commenting. I've been trying to get on NeoGAF because that's where I really want to go. And they accepted my application like 4 months ago, and I'm still waiting for activation. It takes up to like a year.
But like
they're just more like when I'm on the GAF subreddit or GAF whatever. I'm on many levels deep. I'm on the GAF thread for Giant Bomb, which is where I want to like communicate. Like they're just all day in there, and whereas Reddit is like there's a post here and like a bunch of people are talking about it, and then like there's another post. It's like I just want to be in the one thing.
I'm just surprised you didn't have an account.
Yeah,
because it's easier to follow the different Reddits you want to follow if you have an account.
Yeah, I know. I should. I always was thinking about doing it and just never had the urge to comment on anything.
Backslash or forward slash talking games. It's talking games.
Our talking games.
It's talking games. Our talking games. Yeah. One word. You can get to our subreddit, join up, start commenting. I'm not sure if you haven't used Reddit before, you can also make posts in the Reddit. It doesn't just have to be like one of us.
Yeah.
Like anybody can do it. I just don't know. Maybe people like might be joining the first time they're on Reddit or something like that. I just want them to know that you can do that. And check out our YouTube channel where we Justin and I we might be finishing Resident Evil 7 tonight.
It's a possibility.
It's a possibility.
I've been waiting for that video to go up of the last time I played where I got
very, very angry.
Yeah.
Very, very angry. It's going to go up. It should be up. By the time people are hearing this, it'll be up. You get very, very angry. We had a couple weeks where we couldn't record because just of stuff. So I didn't want to...
Sickness and whatnot.
Sickness of kids, I guess.
Yes.
Yes. And other stuff. So we're going to record some more tonight. And so that series, and then we'll move on to the next thing. One of these days, Justin, I have to bring over my PC so Justin can play Battlegrounds.
I really think that someone's announcing that for console next month.
I think you're probably right.
E3 is 3 weeks away.
It's true.
When are we doing our prediction show?
The week before.
All right. Sounds good. I'll make sure I'm on that week.
Is next week next week's like the big game talk, right?
Yeah.
Should probably put the thing before that.
Rumor is that helps.
Yeah, to talk a lot about games. But yeah, you can follow me on Twitter at Bobby Shortle. Just
JROAK.
Kelsey.
Kelsamus, KELSSAMUS.
And yeah, I think that's gonna do it. I don't think I have anything else, any other business to go over.
I got one thing I gotta say.
Okay.
I just want to say that if you don't follow Kelsey, you should, because Kelsey is a late night tweeter. And sometimes at like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, she tweets something, and I have to respond to her with just one word: graphic. So follow Kelsey.
I deleted that last tweet. I took it back.
You shouldn't
I
have.
felt it was too
No,
mean.
Wow. I thought it was great.
I was like, poor Nebula. She just wanted love. I should take that back.
She shouldn't. Why? I'm not gonna repeat it.
She does very salacious tweets like "Happy birthday to Montreal, love you, boo, get wild tonight."
She told Nebula to suck her ass.
Ah, okay.
It was graphic. I was like, wow, I wasn't expecting that.
And
I'm
so-
gonna let her know I
was
appreciated
angry.
it.
I was angry.
Stuff like, if you wanted to know how weird I am, just know that I'm drunk screaming Harry Potter lines.
Good to know that we can crack Kelsey up by just reading her own tweets.
Yep.
I'm hilarious.
So yeah, she also misses Luigi's Mansion and wants to replay it, but too many games.
I do.
Yeah. So that's what you get if you follow Kelsey on Twitter.
Follow the rest of us though. It's not as entertaining as that.
Yeah, if you follow me, just prepare. There's going to be some political stuff.
If you follow me, just get prepared for retweets.
Yeah, and maybe
And
one tweet every like three
I
weeks.
tweeted 3 times today.
I know.
It's true.
All about,
It's
All about
true.
arms.
Just takes the Nintendo fighting game to get you to tweet.
I'm trying to tweet more.
That's going to do it for our podcast for this week. Thank you, Justin.
Thank you, Kelsey.
Thank you, Bobby.
And thank you to all of you out there. Until next time, be good to one another.
Well done.
Well done.
Well done.